Mean. All right. Well, thanks for jumping on, team. Just a few little tips and tricks about how we can use Google Classroom for engagement. And I guess, I've been thinking the last week or so, this is our situation, isn't it? We're in lockdown and we've got this battle for student attention, and we're a little old rebel in the corner with just one tiny little ship against the might of all these other more powerful things that are getting the students' attention at the moment with social media and gaming and streaming. And so when we're asking kids to join onto our virtual learning, they're always there in the background. We don't have them physically in the classroom to try and redirect that attention. So yeah, that's the sort of challenge that I've been struggling with. So just sharing a few things that have worked for me, and then also how you can use Google Classroom to keep track of that engagement. And I guess the first place to start is to try and set stuff that is engaging. And, we know kids are engaged by games. So how can we gamify learning? So here's a task that seems to be going all right with some of my year 9s and 10s, a bingo board. So 24 tasks in all. They don't have to do all 24, but can choose like either a column, 4 of them, or a row, 6 of them. Or if they're really committed, they can try and get every single one of those tasks. The other way to gamify using badges and rewards. So I've got this classroom economy with Banker, and there's sort of rewards that guys can get for completing tasks. There's some class jobs, a few links in there for gamified learning from TKI. And then also, so I know I don't use them in my class, but I know of some teachers that use digital badges, because again, if we can see that what the kids use in their world, you can see a little image there from Fortnite. So that's quite motivating for students in the gaming world. So maybe we can use some of that in the teaching and learning world. And even just some tasks that we probably wouldn't do in the classroom that might be a bit more engaging. And here's a few things that we've done over lockdown that seem to have a bit of student uptake. So building a fort, either out of furniture or all sorts of bits and pieces. Some of the kids made these wonderful forts, and then try and bring in some maths with measuring the floor area and volume. Obstacle course, so had some great videos of the families running around these obstacle courses. Making stuff. So one of the challenges was making a catapult and seeing how far they could fire a tennis ball. And then another one just on being out in the neighborhood and walking around. When you get to an intersection, always take the left turn and just sort of see where you end up. You might end up in a part of the neighborhood you weren't in there before. So just an activity to try and just get that student engagement. And so you're moving into Google Classroom. How can we use that? Well, engagement in the stream. It reminded me of that song Islands in the Stream, but this is engagement in the stream. So even just a quick little post, like there's heaps of these scale of cat, scale of dog, scale of Thor, scale of sloth, and just, that's the first response. Just on a scale of 1 to 10, which are the images. Post a comment, and I'll show you that in just a bit. Just to engage the students. And that comment, when they comment in the stream, then you've got a record of who's done what, so you can see who's actually engaged with the content that you've left. It may not be at the same time you're having your meet, but you do know that those students have engaged at some stage during the day or couple of days. An assignment question. So this is built into the classwork part of Google Classroom. So it doesn't have to be an academic type of question. It can just be like, a joke. And that's waiting for you there in the shared classroom for this course. Custom banner. And that's been quite useful, having the students design the classroom banner that sits at the top of the Google Classroom. Again, to try and make that digital hub a bit more of a destination, a place for students to go to see their daily work. Always love good emojis. So there's a whole bunch of emojis you can add. So rather than just plain text, trying to add a bit of bling to those announcements. Even discussion, pose a question. Oh yeah, there you go. Here's Dolly Parton, discussions in the stream, islands in the stream. Using that announcement as posing some sort of question that they respond to. And again, so you can just keep track of who's actually been engaging with the task. And obviously Google Classroom assignments, and you can access this later. There's a whole bunch of different options that you've got with a Google Classroom assignment, again, to try and make it engaging, to make it clear what you expect of the students, marking with rubrics, scheduling them in advance. I think we've seen a lot of that in the last week. Also teaching the kids about how to access the tasks that they've got coming up to you. Sometimes kids think they're on track, but they've often missed out on assignments that you've set across different subjects. So that idea of viewing their work, and then also your one that's in the to-do if you've got any assignments to mark. And sort of getting near the end, so you can track all these with the Markbook. You click on that Mark link, and if you've been diligently marking work as a Google Classroom assignment, the grades will appear in there. You can see who's handed stuff in, who's missing. But you can also add in an assignment that maybe wasn't done through Google Classroom. So that algebra practice test, so that was done in Education Perfect, but I put in the grade in Google Classroom so I could get an overview in that Markbook of who's been doing what. And all of this is really useful for using the Google Guardian feature. So most parents, or a number of parents, have signed up to get those either weekly or daily summaries of what's been posted for their students, for their sons and daughters. And so if it's a nice detailed post that you've done, then that helps parents see what's required of their young people during the day. Want to level up? Here's a few little things you can investigate. This is an add-on called Classwork Zoom, and you get a real good breakdown, almost minute by minute, of work students are doing on a document in a classroom assignment. I'm more than happy to go through that a little bit later. And similarly, another add-on called Schoollytics, which you get a few clicks of the button and you can automatically see, what the 6 students who haven't been engaging in work, or the 6 students who are most engaged. So it uses all that data in Google Classroom just in an easy to use form. And that's the end of the spiel. So Rob, if you want to stop the recording, and I'll stop yarning.